What if the Dutch went to space? Welcome to this new RP-1 playthrough. My name is Mike Lucky and some of you may know me as a modder in the KSP and RP-1 community. Today I'm starting a new playthrough. It's called A Fresh Start and it's based on the premise of the Netherlands running a space agency. For this purpose we've reconverted the island of Texel to a launch facility. Well, bear with me, it's still floating a bit in the air, but I am pretty sure we can make it successful. And of course this is not a reality, this is an alternative reality. And the premise is that World War II never happened and maybe the Dutch had a better relationship with their colonies. Maybe through marriage of one of our former kings rather than subjugation of the people in Indonesia. And maybe over a long period of time it's no longer the Dutch Indies but more the Indonesian Netherlands. Who knows? Anyway, if World War II never happens we would still probably be a significant colonial power. But hopefully in a better manner. It's the 7th of October 1951 and we're launching a V2 missile. It's not out of the realm of the impossibilities to think that the Germans would collaborate with the Dutch on this. After the First World War, a lot of the German, in particular the military industry, moved over to the Netherlands. And I'm thinking about Hengelo, for example, where one of the best radar companies is located. Based on this premise that you cannot develop their own military material anymore. The V2, of course, being of German design, is a 12-ton rocket. It's about 14 meters tall, running ethanol and logs. Ethanol is interesting because you can make it from potatoes. That's handy when kerosene is sort of hard to combine. So a combination of alcohol, water, liquid oxygen, and we're launching the first one off Texel, the island, in the largest island actually in the Waddenzee, so the northern part of the Netherlands. You can see our rocket is going straight up. It's performing excellent, and we should have engine cut off in a couple of moments. It's going straight up. Its target is the Kármán line. The Kármán line is a 140 kilometer line or altitude. It's not a real line, I don't think you can find lines up there, but it's sort of the line where we say this is more space than it is atmosphere. So the air pressure is so low and the amount of air molecules or oxygen and carbon dioxide molecules, I forgot the other bottom, nitrogen or oxygen. So there's very little air up there. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. We have engine cutoff. In reality, this actually happened on the 20th of June in 1944. So the Germans were actually earlier. But this is 1951, and we're launching this thing in a nature reserve. Don't think this is gonna happen in real life. Like the Waddenzee is a protected area. I love to go sailing there. It's one of the most interesting sailing areas that I know of. It has a lot of wildlife. It has a unique nature population in terms that there's a lot of low water. And yeah, so but we're launching missiles there in that area. And it's actually a military site. So I guess they're not completely oblivious to explosions and stuff like that. But our payload is very simple. It's a bunch of avionics. It should be running a couple of experiments. However, I was not smart enough to switch them on, which I probably should have done. So I switched them on by the time we reached space and not before that. So we're capturing a bit of science data, but not that much. But I'd like to think of this as a test of the systems of the launch complex, the launch pads, the refueling systems, the communications. And you can see the probe coming down now. Parachutes have been deployed and we've actually landed. Fun fact, retrieval would be quite simple. If you just wait for low tide, you can probably walk over there and pick the probe up. And in this walkthrough, this is not what we're expecting. So we expect the Dutch Navy to recover the craft. And 7th of October, we're the first to reach space. We're following it up with a second launch again of a V2 missile. It's exactly the same design. It was actually the backup of the first missile. RP-1, for those of you who have been playing it, has a test flight configuration which allows parts to fail and blow up. And fortunately that has not happened to us yet. So we're launching our second missile. Similar trajectory, however, and this is a bit of a distance attempt as well. So we're trying to curve the trajectory a little bit. We've looked a little bit ahead in the mission profiles. We need to get about 200 kilometers down range with a camera in one of the upcoming contracts. So we haven't unlocked the camera yet, but I'm trying to figure out if we could actually do this with this missile. It's yeah, so it's the 16th of Jan 1952. Distance attempt. We're heading up north, of course, because we don't want to dump missiles on our German neighbors. And as you can see in the background, you can see sort of the coastline of the Netherlands, and you can see the islands stretching out in the back. We're attempting to reach the north of the Dutch economical zone, which stretches up quite a bit up to, I would say, Norway, UK, somewhere in that intersection. That's still considered part of the economical zone of the Netherlands. So we're, I suppose we can dump craft in there. Well, I'm not sure if it's a good idea, but we could. So yeah, and it's flying. This time we are running the experiments and we're gathering science. This is RP-1. It's a modification of KSP, bringing in real solar system, but also real engines and a lot of other shenanigans like, there we can see the drop zone. We're doing great. So it also brings in the intricacies of running a space agency, getting the funding right, but getting also the technology up to snuff, testing, and here we go. We're going down for the second time. We're all doing pretty well, I would say. As for RP-1, I have been playing RP-1 for a long time now. I've been a huge fan of YouTubers like Carnasa, the Beardy Penguin, and of course N9. I'm secretly extremely jealous of their For All Kerbal Kind series, which is amazing. And if you want to learn more about RP-1, I would highly recommend you follow them and also look into their creation videos, because they explain a lot about how it actually works. The third attempt is April the 15th, 1952. This time we have mounted the camera and we're attempting to go about 200 kilometers downrange. And yeah, as you can see, we have a problem with the parachute. The camera is peeking out, but you will see in a moment that the parachute fails to deploy, which is kind of a bummer, since without a parachute, yeah, that's not really gonna work out. But fortunately we got another one in the pipeline. 23rd of July we're launching the fourth rocket already, and this time it is packing the parachute at a different position. So apparently I encapsulated the parachute inside the camera, which was a very dumb idea. And yeah, you will see that we reach high space. And as we do so, I'm using the inertia of the rocket to push us a little bit further before I actually deploy the probe. So I'm waiting to push it out of the atmosphere so it actually has less air resistance, and then the probe can fly off. And you can see here that Kerbalism has registered the data. We're in high space, well, not high space, we're in low space. We have the camera running, we're collecting film. You can see the parachute positioned in a better spot, and we're going down. Parachute deployment, and we're heading back to the surface. This should yield us enough science to progress our program. We're running 2 programs at the moment. We're running in RP-1 version 2, which means I have to run specific programs and progress through certain missions. I'll show you in a minute which programs I'm running. So that will be the next episodes. We'll be going for biological samples. Hopefully the fruit flies will come back safe, and we'll take a stab at the downrange contracts. See you soon.